want to say very, very big welcome to you guys. I really enjoy actually coming week after week and trying to share with you knowledge to be able to go and help you build a good understanding of what you need to do in IT in general, IT strategy and management in this subject. But in general, I like to give you guidance and ensuring I give you all the support you need because I want you to go and feel that you're not basically someone who is not important for me, but I want you to kind of feel that, you're not simply a number in my classroom. I just want to make sure I give you that support and get the outcomes that I want you to go and really get. So very, very big welcome. Today, I'm going to be talking about the second lectorial introduction. It's an overview of strategic management and the information system and IT strategy implications. We're going to talk about, what sort of strategy we build, how do we actually, compete and so on. But I want to go and remind everybody that if you are ever unsure about the consultation time that is available, or if you're ever unsure about who is teaching you, the details about my phone, my email, my consultation hours are available on Moodle, and same is for my colleague who is teaching the course on a Friday, I think. But what I would like also say is I've noticed that some people were trying to go and attend the different class and the class they're scheduled to go and attend. Please make sure you are actually simply only attending the classes that you were actually assigned to go and attend. Don't just attend any class, attend only your classes, which is really important to ensure that we assign you to the right groups that you need to go and be working with, especially for your group assignments. So please keep that in mind. A very important things we would like to go and bear in mind is about all the copyright. I will see myself saying this every single week, literally every single webinar. It's more about actually ensuring that we need to go and not copy and paste any information relating to other people and not go and actually claim that as ours. We don't want you to copy and paste anywhere in anything you do. Copy paste is not allowed whatsoever. So please make sure you're actually bearing that in mind. And when you're going to go and make your research, no copy, no pasting, you simply actually make sure you're doing your research yourself. And you're paraphrasing everything and using your own words whenever you are going to be talking about anything. That's very, very important to bear in mind. What am I going to be doing today? I'm going to be making a recap of what we've done in a previous session. I'm going to go and talk about the topics that we are going to be, focusing on, and what are the learning objective basically of that topic too. And we're going to talk about the work you need to do before you come to the midweek webinars that is scheduled. Now, last week we spoke about information system, information technology, and we spoke about the digital sort of context. Could anybody give me some sort of a reminder? What have we talked about? How did I differentiate IS from IT, from the digital sort of thinking? What did I say? What did anybody remember? What is IS? Anybody remembers from that? What is information system? Anyone?
It's the ability to perform basic thinking process.
The ability to move from basic thinking process. Close. Let's talk first. What is information technology? What is IT? When we say information technology, what is this?
Use of any computers, stores, networking, and other physical devices.
So it could be a networking, it could be a software, yes. It could be a hardware, it could be networking. So it's about basically the technology itself. Now, yes. The technology itself won't do any work. The technology needs people to be able to use it to get something done. Correct?
Yeah.
Otherwise, technology, if I put a computer, it won't do anything by itself. You would usually want some sort of work to happen. So what is information system? Anyone? What is information system? IS? It is really more about how are we using technology to be able to get information, store information, share information. So it's more about the information that we need to go and really be generating from the actual technology that is available. When I talk about digital thinking, we're talking about how nowadays we are moving to an environment where you use things like the cloud, you have services that are fully available on the digital world. We're talking about providing a sort of service that is more linked to what happens on a digital environment, technology-wise, which is different than simply having, let's say, using the system inside of your business to be able to generate some information. So it's basically much more than simply being internal to your network. It's about kind of going more into the digital world and trying to go and deliver using the technology and delivering the information that is needed. We spoke about digital disruption. Okay, can you guys give me any example where there's been like a digital disruption, where we kind of operate differently because we now have new technology, or we now have new systems or new information? Give me one example of a disruption, something we do differently today. What can you think about?
Amazon, the book, largest book.
Amazon. So the way we operate, okay, where did we used to go and buy a textbook? We used to go to the library, we get things from there, we basically go and buy them, sell them, whatever we want to do. And now we're talking, now we're going to go and operate in a totally different manner by using about, digital environment. We spoke about the 3-era model of evolving IT application in organizations. And what that's about, we said, well, initially how people basically used to be using the sort of systems is just more for kind of processing data, data processing to make it more efficient. Instead of make it manually, we kind of get the system to go and process the data. But then we kind of moved to one stage higher and we said, no, we're going to need to go and have management information system. How do we analyze and use that data to be able to really get the outcomes that will be able to go and ensure a business is going to go and operate in a better manner? And now we start talking about something more like a sort of strategic sort of thinking. How are we going to go and kind of have a strategic sort of alignment and thinking in terms of having information system and IT that align with the business needs and basically delivering exactly the supplying what the business really need for the strategy to go and really be delivered. Classification of the strategic uses of IS and IT. We spoke about so many various classification. We spoke about success factors in strategic information systems. How do we ensure if we're going to get something, it's going to give us the outcome, such as speak to the business, know what they want, and then start supplying exactly what the business really need. We spoke about the portfolio management perspective on information technology and IS investments. So don't actually only invest all your eggs into one basket. Don't simply do strategic projects, don't simply do operational projects. Kind of mix up your investment in an organization to the various sort of systems and various things that could help you achieve long-term business, things that could help you achieve short-term business, and things that could basically help you to go and really improve your operation. So you think about all of these things together to be able to go and get the outcomes. We spoke about information system and IT or digital strategy, and it's all about how do we kind of go and really think about it between demand and supply. How do we know what the business really wants, which is the IS side, understanding the business, understanding what the information they need, and asking ourselves, how are we going to be supplying to the business what they need? And the supply side of things, it's about how do we go and deliver to the business through technology what they need in terms of technologies to get the information that we are going to be needing. Guys, we spoke about strategic alignment to strategic evolution. Does anybody remember what example I provided? So guys, I spoke last week about from strategic alignment to strategy co-evolution. Does anybody remember what I meant? What is a strategy co-evolution?
So co-evaluation means adding up something in your business so that you can make your customer something new system, like adding up like something new ideas,
Okay,
improve price. Yeah.
you're right in terms of new ideas. I want to go and show you something, and I want to see whether that really reminds you of anything. So let me just go and do that. I showed you last week, compare the market. Compare the market. I spoke about that last week, and I told you, I asked you, what does the compare the market provide? Do you remember that? Do you remember what I said about this website specifically? Anyone?
No, sir.
I said when these businesses went and started, they basically were doing health insurance comparison. So the business wanted to go and operate in one area. They went and they got the technology. They understood what the business wanted. They got the technology. They got the information, and they started operating and providing health insurance comparison. But then they found, you know what? We now have the capability. So from the capability of the IT and IS that they have, they said, well, why don't we use the same capability to expand and provide comparison in many other areas? So you go see that the co-evolution of their of the way they are operating, they change it from their existing capability, and they said, let me go and actually operate and start providing comparison to more than one particular area. Does that make sense? Does that make sense, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did Apple do something similar? Is Apple making a co-evolution?
Yeah, they have done lots of things.
What do they do? Oh,
It's
I
like
know technology.
they basically started with the phone, and then they have upgraded with the computer and lots of iOS other things as well.
You basically see how you keep on adjusting because you now have the capability. Let's move here. Let's move here. Let's move here. They went to the music industry. They went to the movie industry. They went to now they're even going to the car industry.
Yeah.
You know, they sent someone to the new Apple car project. Wow, it looks an amazing car.
It's amazing, yeah. I've seen it.
But I don't know, prototypes always look good. I would love to see what happens to reality. But the point that I'm trying to make is what we're talking about in terms of the co-evolution of what I'm trying to go and deliver at any particular point of time. We spoke about how we need to build a dynamic capability. Why is the dynamic capability important? Because you need to keep on changing. We work in IT, the environment keeps on changing, what the client wants keep on changing, what is available keeps on changing. And it's about how do we change our business accordingly to be able to go and keep on remaining leaders in a particular business. So that's everything we basically started covering last week. So just really want to encourage you all to continue coming. I'm really very much appreciative that so many of you have listened to my emails and responded to me and started coming and attending the Lectorial. I would like you to also make sure you're attending your webinars because your success is something very important to us. You're not simply someone in our class, you're an individual. We care about you and we want you to succeed. So success will be very difficult if you guys are not coming to the classes. So please, I urge you to continue coming and making sure you tell your friends who are not coming yet to make sure they continue coming to the classroom. But thank you very much. A great effort. And I very much respect that. Today, I'm going to be talking about this is really the webinar's learning objective. I might not cover all of them, but what is going to be spoken about, we're going to talk about the evolving nature of strategic management in organizations. We're going to talk about the scope of strategy development. We're going to talk about the framework for formulating strategy. We're going to talk about where do we compete. We're going to talk about how do we actually gain a competitive advantage. We're going to talk about the assets we have and what assets do we need to be able to continue to achieve success. We're going to talk about how do we actually change, and we're going to talk about strategy implementation. Now, what you will notice throughout what I'm talking about is I will be asking you questions. So I respect you guys. I respect your views. I respect what you know. And I want you not to be scared to actually come and talk to me, share with me, and making sure that you tell me what you think and I will respect your view, and we'll have a discussion, and we'll listen to what you guys are saying. So please make sure you engage with me when I basically start asking you the questions. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the evolving nature of strategic management in organization. People were not really doing strategic management. People were just trying to focus on meeting the budget. Even some companies today are still focused on meeting the budget. People, when they move from the stage of let me just meet the budget, they start saying, let me go and make more than simply financial planning potentially for a year. Let me go and have a forecast-based planning. Maybe we predict the future. Maybe we do multi-year budgets. And the further we start moving up here, we start talking about becoming more effective at making our strategic decision-making. We then move further. We're saying that, yes, we're doing gap analysis. Yes, we're doing a static allocation of resources in phase 2. In other words, 10 people here, 5 people here, they don't change according to how the situation changes. Now, people who do strategic decision-making that are better than these first phase or second phase, they are part of the third phase. What that third phase talk about, they say, well, we need to be externally oriented. We need to see what is happening all around us. We need to see the situation. We need to see the changing in competitive pressures. We need to evaluate the options we have in comparison to what is changing all around me. And I need to go and say, yes, we usually make a static allocation of resources. We're going to say, no, we're not going to continue to do that. We're going to go and make a strategic alignment of resources. We're going to work in a totally different manner. We're going to dynamically change resources to be able to continue meeting our requirements. And you can see here, wow, we're going to be able to go and start getting more effective at decision making. Phase 4, we don't simply think strategically by looking at the environment, but we create the future. We create the framework. We create the strategy. Like some people will go and be the leader in the market. They go and try to be first. They don't want to basically wait for everybody else to go and be the leader. They want to be the leader. They create the future. They innovate from their knowledge and their competencies. They go about reinforcing their management values and processes to meet new outcome. They have all of these great strategic thinking capability that is not in one area of the business, but in many areas, in many locations, people have that capability. Strategically focused organization. Everybody thinks strategically to go and get the right outcome. And it's about really having a right framework to be able to get the new future to be developed and get the new innovations to start becoming available out there to our clients. This is really the creating the future that is basically the most effective way of us trying to go and compete out there in the market. Does that make sense, my friends? Now, ladies and gentlemen, we talk about strategy, we talk about strategic thinking, and we talk about the planning. Now, a lot of time people think, planning and strategy, they are the same. They use them to be the same. Or what happens, some people say, no, we're going to put them together, strategic planning, and that's it. That's what it's going to be. But it's very important not to mistake planning for strategy. This is a trap that people go and actually get to. We cannot really see the end from the beginning. The beginning is planning. We need to be able to really go and get the planning to happen right. And once you plan, your end result is your strategy. So your strategy and planning are not necessarily the same thing. They are actually different, and you cannot mistake planning to strategy because they are definitely not the same thing. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So Michael Porter, what he argued, he said, you know what? Many organizations think that, operational effectiveness is strategy. Okay, but that's not right. Operational effectiveness is more about, let me perform the similar activities. Let me do them better than those who are basically competing against me. Let me be Apple competing better with Microsoft. Let me do my customer service better. Let me do my IT management better. It's all about basically, I have a department and I want to make it more, operate in a better way than the other competitors are doing. That's not strategy. Operation is about happening now. operation is what I'm doing now. Strategy is more about the future, more about the long term, more about where do we want to go and really get to. Strategic positioning means performing different activities from rivals. So let me say, I'm going to do this thing, and no one else is going to be able to go and compete with me. Or if you are competing similar activities to the competitor, you kind of do it in different way. For example, Elon Musk is providing a car, but what is different is Elon Musk is providing an electric car, so we're kind of positioning ourselves in a way that we are different than everybody else out there in terms of the competition. Now, I want to ask you a question. In an organization, we have a corporate strategy, or we have a department strategy. A corporate strategy could be, I am Maya, and I'm going to be creating a strategy for Maya, which is my corporate body, which is my main business. The other concept would say, no, I'm not going to go and get a sort of strategy for Maya, the high level. I'm going to go and get a strategy for for the marketing department, for the sales department, for the operational department, for the store department, for the IT department, and so on. So my question to you, my friends, is, do we develop a corporate strategy, or do we develop a departmental strategy? And why? What do you think? Should we develop a department strategy or a corporate strategy? What do you think? Should I get a Maya strategy or a specific department strategy? Which one should we do and why?
Departmental strategies are like, if more people can think like differently, and the company get like what I mean.
So you're saying we need to have a strategy for each department, because each people in the department thinks differently. Marketing doesn't think like IT, and we need to get a strategy for all of those departments. Is that what you're saying?
Oh yeah, different people have different thought. They can uplift the business. Like one people think only one way.
Yeah.
That's why like some people might don't like that way. So they have to give a equal opportunity for equal department. Like if they are handling one department, the management should handle that one.
Oh, no problem. Thank you very much. I really appreciate your answer. Someone else raised their hands. Who raised their hands?
Sir, but the strategy, like the what kind of strategy we are going to develop is should depend according to the size of the organization. Like if the organization is pretty big, so we're gonna have to like develop the corporate strategy, like, and if this like organization size of the organization is small, so we should start from the departmental strategies. Isn't that the right process?
Well, Indra, I'll talk about that in a second, but I'm listening to your point of view at the moment. Your point of view is depending on the size of the organization. We might have a department strategy, or we might be having a corporate strategy. That's your view, yes?
Yes, sir.
No worries, my friend. Anybody else want to add their point of view? Someone raised their hand, but I can't see it anymore. Don't be scared. You can. I will always value your opinion. Anyone else? Okay, so what I'm going to say, it's going to really go and depend on your situation. Okay. My very simple answer is the following. We need to always have a high level strategy, because that high level strategy is going to go and basically tell me, where is my business heading? So if you're Maya, you need to know, where does the business want to go and actually end up in the future? Okay, so I could be a senior management in Maya, and I would like to go and say, or Apple or whatever, can say, we want the business to be doing this in the future. We want to be into cars. We want to be into going to space. We want to be whatever it is. We're going to go and actually say, we are going to be heading to that particular location in terms of what we are trying to go and deliver. Now, Indra.
Yes, sir.
Okay, if I go and say, we're going to go and end up in the moon, I'm Apple, I'm saying, we're going to go and end up in the moon. Who will help me to end up in the moon?
Maya.
So like it's the
So,
so, so
Partner.
like we all have the like help of the both department as well as a corporate as well as we can say like only one like
Excellent.
one thing can't always lead us to the moon, so we need the help of the both of those like corporates, you know, like
Excellent.
corporate as well as the departmental as well.
100%. And that's the point I want to get you to. Okay. You're going to have a high level. You need to know what the business want to go and do, where they want to get, but who is going to do the work to help you to get where you want to be? It is all of these various departments that will basically have their strategy to help me to get to the goal that I would like to go and get to. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's where I'm talking about here. A corporate strategy. What is the overall rationale and logic and scope of the corporation? How will the corporate center add value to the businesses? A business unit, and this is even talking even one level higher, which I'll talk to you about. A business unit, how will each business unit compete? How will it be sustainable and functional? Is each particular department. Now, what they're talking here about is one level higher, which I'll explain to you in a second. Now, I want to give you the example of an organization. So if we're thinking about this particular item here, they're saying there's a headquarter, there's a corporate, there's a business unit, and there's a functional area in terms of the strategies. Now, what do they mean by that? Well, an organization may be composed of multiple businesses which compete in different industries. Okay, so can you give me, guys, Apple as an example? Does Apple operate in more than one industry? Does Apple operate in more than one industry?
Yeah, it does operate in like numerous industries, like as you previously said, like it is now heading towards the music industry, movies, as well as the now they're planning towards the automotive as well. So yeah.
Okay, so if you go and look at, let's say, the music industry,
Mhm.
if I go and look at the car manufacturing industry, if I go and talk about the movies industry, these sections, they are by themselves. These sections have their own goals, have their own objectives, and every one of these sections, let's say the movie section, it will have department underneath it, and there would be a goal for this movie section or movie business unit, and underneath that there are actual strategies for various departments in that movies business unit to enable the movies business unit to be able to go and reach its real objectives. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, now there are other examples of a corporate level where you'll have like a big organization on top, and that organization owns more than one business, and that business have multiple departments. So you'll have a strategy for the corporate, which is for all the business units, and then the strategy for the business unit, and then the strategy for the functional. I will discuss further about that next week. I'm going to give you a very specific example that you'll be able to go and relate to, and you'll be able to make directly the search to be able to see how that works in practice. Now, ladies and gentlemen, organizational components are usually referred to as strategic business unit. They do sell distinct product or services, or they serve specific customers and compete with defined competitors. The strategic choices reflect the requirements for them to compete effectively in a chosen market and achieve a sustainable competitive advantage. Now, this is not something that is very easy and straightforward to achieve, but we will discuss it further on Thursday about how could we actually reach to be able to achieve that particular competitiveness. Now, to be able to get to a strategy, to be able to reach a goal we're trying to go and achieve, we need to go and really have a process. We need to kind of devise a strategy to be able to go and reach the goals we would like to go and reach. Now, to be able to reach that strategy, we need to ask ourselves very questions. First of all, I need to ask myself, where do I want to compete? If I'm competing in a particular market, it's different than if I'm doing another market. For example, if I talk as an example on McDonald's compete in Australia, and McDonald's go and compete in India. Can they offer the same food in India as well as in Australia? Yes, no, why?
No, sir.
No, sir.
What's that?
Because India is like Hindu religious. They can't eat beef over there.
All right,
Over
so
in Australia, they can.
absolutely. So the first thing is I need to know, where do I want to compete? And the second thing I need to ask, how am I going to be able to go and gain an advantage to be able to win in that competition? And the third thing I need to go and ask, okay, what assets do I have to be able to win? And the fourth thing I need to ask, what assets are required for me to be able to go and win? So what assets do I have, and what assets do I need to be able to go and win? And then finally, I'm going to say, all right, I have these assets, I need these assets. How can I actually change to be able to go and reach the outcome I would like to really go and reach? So that's really what we're trying to go and do at a particular point of time. When we are asking ourselves the question, where do we compete? We need to basically ask the following. We need to be able to go and deal with so many factors around us that will really influence our industry. Okay, for example, do you want to compete where there are so many, I don't know, many new entrants that are going to be competing against you? Do you want to compete in an environment where the suppliers have a lot of power against you? Do you want to compete in an environment where, as a buyer, you have a lot of power against suppliers? Do you want to compete in an environment where there are many substitute products or services that people could buy instead of buying your product? So to be able to succeed and to be able to decide, where do I want to compete, I need to go and understand all of these various forces that are really implementing my industry and implementing where I actually go and operate. Another way you need to kind of ask yourself when you're trying to decide where do you want to compete, there's an analysis called pestle analysis. Anybody know what the pestle analysis stand for? Anybody knows what pestle stands for?
No, sir.
Okay, make a search for pestle. Have a search and tell me, what is that? And why is that important to decide where do we want to compete? So what is pestle?
Is the key factor.
Okay, give me, what's P? What does P stand for?
Political, economic, sociological, technological, legal, and environmental.
Absolutely. So there's legal, there's economical, there's environmental, there's so many various factors. So what the pestle analysis talks about, saying, well, if I want to decide where I want to compete, don't I need to go and make all of these analysis? What is the political environment in the country? What is the legal environment? What is the economical environment? What is the social environment? Don't I have to go and make all of these analysis of a particular environment in which I want to be operating? And by me doing that particular analysis, I'll be able to go and say, you know what? I would potentially be able to go and get to the outcome I would like to go and get to. So you basically start seeing that we are able to go and choose an environment in which we can actually compete, where we are going to actually be successful. Let me ask you a question, my friends. If you want to go and win, if you want to go and actually operate in an environment and you want to be a leader, you want to win. Okay, I want to ask you about these organizations in front of you. What do the following organization offer to win customers? In other words, why do we buy from these companies? What What do they have that helps me to buy from them? Why do people buy from Woolworths?
They give some special offer, good
Special,
product.
so they give me cheap stuff.
Yes.
Okay. They give me home brand stuff that is a cheaper products. And what else?
They offer some reward like
Rewards. And what else?
Everyday reward cards.
What's that, my friend?
Everyday reward cards.
Yeah, absolutely. And they give me also a variety.
yeah, lots of variety.
There's a lot of variety. Okay. What does McDonald's give me that helps me win?
Cheapest burger.
Cheapest burger.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fast
well,
service.
okay. They give you a consistent quality. Is it high quality?
It's always consistent quality. Yeah.
It's a consistent, but is it high quality?
No, not at all.
Always same.
Okay. So it's a consistent quality. What does
Yeah.
Louis Vuitton give you?
It's a
Nothing.
high quality,
Expensive.
Right?
very expensive, high quality.
Expensive, privilege, high quality. Okay. So you see how organization, they're not all going to compete the same way. In IT, we're not going to all going to compete the same way. Okay. Why do people go to TPG? Why do people go and let's say buy mobile phone with Telstra?
With a network.
Eh?
A good network.
Okay, so you see, so every company, is TPG offering the same thing? Is Vodafone offering the same thing? Are they competing in the same manner?
No, they got a different strategy.
So you need to think about how the strategy is different that we're trying to go over at any particular point of time. Okay, the strategy will differ based on who the client is that we're trying to go and service. I'm just wanted to show you an example, like some businesses operate as a low-cost strategy. Some say I want to be different than everybody else. Some say I want to be a niche and a very focused strategy in one particular area. It's all good. There's nothing wrong about that, but it's about understanding your customers and understanding where you want to be operating and how you are going to be operating to be able to really reach the success you would like to go and really reach. How can we actually gain a competitive advantage? Well, there are many, many ways of understanding the value that a firm could be able to go and have to get the competitive advantage. You know, there are many tools, many techniques. There's a value, in other words. So I'm going to talk about one of them. There's much more, but there's a Boston Consulting Group metrics. What it basically says, it says we need to look at what we're trying to do. For example, in some example, we're going to have a product that has a high market share and high cash use. Great. So high market share, high cash use. At the same time, we have a high market growth, high cash use. But at the same time, we also have high market share and high cash generation. So we have a lot of market share, we get a lot of money, but at the same time, we also have growing market and we are using a lot of money to continue growing and get more market share. In a business, this is what I call, these are my star products. Where many people buy them, they give me a lot of money and many more people will buy them. And that's why I need to invest so that more people are going to buy them. There are products that are, high market share and high cash generation. Okay, great. But we have low market growth and low cash use. So there's no point for me to spend a lot of more money to get more people because people are simply not going to come. We're going to just keep on using our existing market share, our existing market cash generation, and we're going to call them a cash cow products that keep on generating money for me without me spending more money on them to get that money. There are products that are different. There are products where they have, low market share and low cash generation. They don't give me a lot of money, but they could grow so much and we need to use a lot of money to be able to make them grow. We call them wildcat or problem child. And here we're having things that are not very, very important. Low market share, low cash generation, low market growth, low use. It's a dog product. It won't get me any money. So we basically might not be basically having a lot of value from all of those particular products. So how do we gain a competitive advantage? Let's invest into the right products. to be able to ensure we are going to be reaching the right outcome. There are more than one way to go and look at this. For example, the customer metrics, which kind of tell you how do you gain competitive advantage. It's saying we need to kind of look at the perceived price versus perceived value. In other words, when I tell someone you're going to pay $100 for something, what value are they perceiving to be receiving for that $100? When you go and tell someone you're going to go and buy a, when you're going to go and buy a, telephone network with Telstra, you're going to pay much more higher money. Well, the perception is it's going to be a better value. That's really how you gain a competitive advantage. You basically ensure you are giving people who are paying you more money the value that they're expecting they are going to go and get from you. The Ansoff metrics talks about many other ways, talks about, look about how many customers you have and look about how many products you have. Give them, more products, attract more customers. You will be able to go and really get the competitive advantage you would like to go and really get. Now, another thing we need to think about is what assets do we have and what assets do we need? You see, if you want to go and, get to the moon, you need to be able to have people with the right skills who could build you the ship and could get you to the moon and get you back. Resource-based view of strategy. We need to have the right resources. Now, we ask ourselves this question. We know we need to have the right resources, but how do we know what is the right resources? Well, the right resources is a valuable resource. It's a rare resource. It's a resource that is, hard for people to go and actually imitate it or take it from my side. It's a resource that is non-substitutable. In other words, people can't simply go and not use my resource and then go and use somewhere else instead. They can't substitute it because it's something that is really unique. Not everybody have the skills that is basically going to be needed. So we need to build the right resources to enable me to be able to go and reach the right success. We need to go and ask ourselves, what are we trying to go and actually achieve? Are we trying to go and achieve operational excellence? Are we trying to have a product or service leadership? Are we having to go and have customer intimacy? Because what assets do I need depends on what am I trying to go and achieve. If, for example, I just want to have operational excellence, I want to have the best value for money, I need to go and focus on getting the assets to be able to go and becoming better efficiently in terms of how do I operate. If I want to have, product or business leadership or service leadership, I need to go and get the best products, best services, and best experience. Let me get the good design, good features, good functions, good styles, good images to reach my outcome. If I want to have a customer intimacy, I need to go and think about the best total and unique solution I am actually going to be giving to the client at that point of time. So I need to really be very much thinking about how we are really going to be operating. How do we change? Well, we need to have a dynamic capability. We need to be able to see how the environment is changing and change accordingly. And when I talk about a lot of capabilities, they need to be in many various areas. I need to be great at producing new products. I need to be great at generating knowledge. I need to be great at basically managing all of these demands that clients would go and actually give me. I need to be great at integrating all of my resources in a way that they're going to be working well in a good manner to be able to reach the right goals. Knowledge and new product development, for example, go hand by hand. They need to work well together. A new product development and demand, they work hand by hand. What's the point of getting a new product if people are not going to go and actually manage the demand for it and people can get the product that they would like? So you need to look how you are really working together to reach the right goals. Now, I want you to know that finally, we need to implement the strategy. And sometimes I might have an intention of what I want to achieve, but things will change. The environment will change. New opportunities will come. Some changes might be imposed on me. Some constraint might prevent me from achieving an outcome. Some things I tried to implement, they don't work. So instead of reaching my strategy as intended, I reach a realized strategy, and some things I wanted to realize will be things that we call unrealized strategies that I won't be able to go and really achieve, because the environment will change, what's happening around me will change, and that's something that I really need to go and bear in mind. That's what I'm going to be covering today in terms of the introduction, guys. Do you have any questions on this?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay, guys, your task for this week is to be able to go and read chapter 2. But one thing that is very, very important, I'm going to reiterate it. I'm very much appreciative of all of those of you who came and attended the lectorial today, and they listened and they followed my guidance. Today, I have so many of you that going forward, I want to continue to have so many of you coming, not simply come for 1 week and then stop, because to get the right outcome, it's about consistently attending your lectorials, listening, learning, attending your webinars, listening, learning, to be able to help us to go and reach the right outcome. So I want consistency. I want to see your hard work. I want you to know that I don't simply treat you as a number, but as a person that I care about in my classroom. I want you present. I want you to learn. I want you to succeed. All what I'm going to say now, thank you very kindly for your time and effort. I look forward to seeing you in the webinars that are scheduled, and we'll continue supporting you throughout the session. Have a great day. Thank you very much for coming.